such a chill to the air as you're getting outside, and it's hard to imagine it's only going to get colder, but we're tracking this huge plunge of Arctic air. It's a little piece, it's a lobe of the polar vortex, and look how far south it dips down. This is a perfect setup for a major winter storm, as we have this battleground between this tropical air from the Gulf and this Arctic air from Canada. So in this area through the south, really stretching from Texas right through the mid-Atlantic, that is where the worst of this storm is going to develop. We're talking about major significant impacts in forms of snow and also ice. But this storm is tracking northward, and we're seeing a higher and higher likelihood for snow in our area Sunday into Monday. So let's take a look at our model tracks, because this is still somewhat uncertain. As you can see, our two major models, the European and the GFS, still some track differences here, with the GFS riding a little bit farther eastward than the European, which is a little bit closer to our shoreline. The GFS model just updating, and it's a little bit closer to the 40-70 benchmark. What that means, a higher likelihood for a heavy snowfall for southern New England. The European track is a little bit closer to shore, and so that will keep a lot of the heavier snowfall totals just slightly farther northwest. And notice that rain line extending toward Nantucket. So there's a lot to watch here, but the bottom line on this Wednesday, as we're getting closer and closer to the storm, is we can say with more certainty the likelihood for at least 6 inches of snowfall. That is snowblower worthy snowfall. So if you have a snowblower, it is time to gas it up. We are looking at a moderate potential for over a foot of snowfall, and a high likelihood for high temperatures below 20 and low temperatures below 0. Extreme chill moving in. You can see the more significant snowfall total still expected as you move farther southward through the Midwest, well, where they'll be measuring the snow in matters of feet. Now, we also have ice concerns here. This is going to be a major ice storm moving into the south, staying well south of our area, but it just goes to show how powerful this storm is. Let's break down what's on our radar locally over the next 12 hours. We do have the chance of some evening snow showers that could mix with rain. Then, of course, we're focusing in on that bitter blast for this weekend and that potential for snow. We are topping out in the mid to upper 20s today. A little bit of a chill factor. It's a little closer to 30 as we move down toward Cape Cod and the islands. As we track this snow into the area, a very strange temperature outlook. Our temperatures will actually start to inch upward overnight heading into tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be our slight warm up, but brief warm up as well. Potential for a coating to an inch as you move north and west of 95, and I would say north and west of Boston as well. So it's not a significant snowmaker, and good news is it's coming in after the evening commute. So we're looking at some very light snow showers moving in from the west as early as 6-7 o'clock in western Massachusetts. It starts to close in on Boston closer to 9, but as we stretch toward that midnight hour, we start climbing above freezing. So we'll see some rain mixing in before this moves out. Just a few raindrops down toward Cape Cod and the islands early tomorrow morning. From there, we're focusing in on a night impact snow for tonight, though, especially when compared to what's heading our way this weekend. So as we're getting through most of today, the daytime hours are dry. We hold on to the chill, though. We're in the mid to upper 20s, feeling like the teens with increasing clouds. As the snow moves into our area, and for Boston, it's after 9 p.m., our temperatures actually start to climb, which is why we're looking at the potential for rain mixing in through the overnight hours as well. That snow is really just starting to move into New York at this point, moving out of the Great Lakes. So we have some time before it arrives. Here we are at the 7 o'clock hour on our timeline, and the snow just starting to work into western Massachusetts, closing in on 495 and 128 toward 9 o'clock this evening. You can see how we climb above freezing in Boston by midnight, so I do think we'll see rain mainly in the city and moving into southeastern Massachusetts as the last raindrops exit Cape Cod and Nantucket, heading toward 5-6 a.m. for your Thursday. So the potential for any sort of snow sticking is mainly north and west of this city. Then we're tracking this polar plunge, a piece of the polar vortex, bringing wind chills as low as 20 below in spots in our area, but lots of chance for snow, a major storm. I'll have the latest track of that ahead. Shayna. We are looking at this polar plunge moving in for this weekend, and while we're tracking that, we're also looking at a higher likelihood for snow. I'm sure you've seen the headlines here all over, so I want to break down what we're seeing right now at this moment as far as our computer model projections. And at this point, we can say with more certainty, over 6 inches of snow looking very likely with our Sunday to Monday storm system. The question is, could we get closer to a foot? That's still in question. But at this point, I would say if you have a snowblower, it is time to make sure it is ready to go. We're looking at high temperatures below 20 degrees both Saturday and Sunday. It is a very cold outlook. In fact, our high temperature on Sunday could possibly tie the record. And low temperatures below zero, when you throw in a wind, that is going to make it feel like it's 10 to even 20 below. And when we're talking about this kind of cold, it's very easy for us to get a big snowstorm. It's all about this rain to snow ratio. We look at 1 inch of rainfall. In a typical snowstorm, that produces about 10 inches of snow. And that wasn't too far from what we had with our last storm, if not a little bit heavier. But as we move toward what we're looking at this weekend with temperatures closer to the mid-teens, we will likely see ratios closer to 20 inches of snow for every inch of rainfall. That is why any shift in the track could have major implications on the amount of snow we are expecting. We're looking at by far the heaviest snowfall stretching from the Midwest right into the mid-Atlantic here. But you could see how that potential for snow does stretch toward us. And because we have that cold air in place, it doesn't take much for us to get significant snow totals here as well. Ice is another major concern with this storm. And unfortunately, it is looking like we could see a major outbreak of ice through much of the south, stretching from Dallas, moving right out through Atlanta. So we're talking about some major airports here that will be impacted by the storm this weekend. It's because of this typical meteorological battleground. This is really a perfect setup for a major storm and a cross-country storm like we're tracking, where we have this Arctic plunge of air meeting with tropical air from the Gulf, setting us up with this really moist outlook for a storm. You have all that moisture there, you have all the cold air, the perfect ingredients for a big snowstorm as it stretches from Texas right through the Midwest into the mid-Atlantic, and then there it is shifting north toward us. The track here is closer and closer to us, so we are looking at a higher likelihood for snow in our area. That is not the only thing on our radar. We're also looking at some late evening snow showers and rain over the next 12 hours. It is dry for now. High temperatures topping out in the mid to upper 20s to just about 30 degrees. As these snow showers move in from the west, our temperatures will actually start to climb. So here we are tonight at 7 o'clock. Snow is mainly to our west. Your evening commute's looking dry. By 9 o'clock, getting a little bit closer to 495 and 128. We start to climb above freezing by midnight. That's when rain starts to mix in at the coast. And I think we'll see a few raindrops down toward Cape Cod, moving toward early tomorrow morning before we dry out. Potential for a coating to an inch moving north and west of Boston, so not a significant storm. We are, of course, focusing more in on that